Aromatic Remedies, and welcome to our next edition of Aroma Talks. Today we're going to be meeting with Lugina Quiros. She is in Mexico and she has some amazing things to share with you and a very unique take on using aromatherapy. So I just wanted to welcome you. I hope you enjoy hearing from Lugina. And I'm going to be posting all of the links below the video of how you can get in touch with her if you're interested in working with this amazing aromatherapist.
Hello, hello, hello.
Lugina, hi, how are you?
How are you, Melissa?
I am doing well. How is afternoon in Mexico?
Nice. It's quite sunny today. It's
Yeah?
been it's been rainy and so. But today I have a nice view to the afternoon.
Oh, that's lovely. It is early morning here on Guam, so.
Yes. So
Yeah.
good morning to you.
So right now the temperature outside is lovely. By the afternoon, I'm sure it will be very hot again though.
Okay. Well, is it very humid?
Very humid.
Yeah.
Yeah, it rains every day.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like rainy tropical weather, right?
Yes, it is a tropical island.
So it's very similar to the weather in Costa Rica, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Or probably, yes.
Hawaii as well. Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So thank you for joining me. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I just really want to get the word out about certified and registered aromatherapists. You know, everybody's familiar with people who sell essential oils, but not many people are familiar with people who use and create essential oil blends therapeutically for people. So
right, and
yeah,
who did take the step further to getting to know them, to get acquainted with the benefits of the essential oils for real.
Yes, very much so. So we're just going to dive right in. Can you tell us a little bit about why, after 20 years of being an enthusiast, you decided to jump into the education part?
Yeah, well, when I first bumped into essential oils for the first time, and this was literally, I bumped into them. I went into a shop because I had some time to spare, and I started looking at everything. It was the Body Shop in London where I used to live. And I saw these mini bottles, and basically I was like startled by the price versus size. And I said, what is this? And then I started to inquire, and to smell and everything. And eventually I started having my own essential oils and reading books, and there was no internet at the moment. So it was very like, I went to a library and perhaps a bookshop, and after I read, I left. I wanted to know more. I didn't have that much of a budget. And I had a career in business management, and my life had already had an established path. So this was to me, it was so feminine, so beautiful, so aromatic. It was something that filled my spirit, but I had a job, I had a career, I had things to do that provided me with enough income.
Right.
And what happened is basically, I think, the midlife crisis. And when I turned sort of 40-ish, or 40 something, and I had like a lot of questions, as if to say, like, corporate life, what has it brought to me? I didn't settle down with a family. I came to live to Mexico on my own after I got a divorce, and basically I had been here. I was something like 35 years old. I went into dating, and I had never got myself established into something. And I started like thinking, what is it that sparks up my passion really madly and deeply? And I thought aromatherapy. And I said, well, now I have, I don't have to fight for my career. I had already established. I had a good job. I had more income. I could pay for my studies. It wasn't gonna stop me from doing other things or paying my rent. So I said, well, now it's the time. And I started studying. Like, I am very, what you call it, like bookshop mouse. I don't know, like a bookworm, right? And so I'm very nerdy, and I'm always studying things and finding out about things. And this reignited with my studies in aromatherapy, because I thought, to begin with, I thought, oh, it's going to be like a hobby, it's going to be nice. And then I found out that I had to study a lot of chemistry, things I had never dealt with,
Right.
like all these molecules. And all of a sudden I was saying, like, oh, is this really what I wanted? But like, I am so curious about things. And I said yes, and I went further and further and further. And that's how I decided to finish the studies. And as I advanced in the modules of the career, it was like every time I needed more. I needed to know more. I had more questions instead of less. And, it was so exciting.
Oh, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So there is a word, I don't know how it would translate to Spanish, but there's a word for someone who just likes to learn on their own.
Right.
Autodidact.
Oh, yeah, it's the same thing in Spanish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So being a bookworm, I totally get that. Yep.
Yeah. You're always investigating about anything that crosses your path.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yes.
That's
But the
fabulous.
school, I had a very good, I wanted to do this properly, when I decided, make the decision. So I wanted to find out what's the best school I can find. And, it was such a coincidence that it really isn't, that the only certified by, the AIA has this certification of schools. And the only one in Latin America that had this certification was like 20 minutes from my house. And I said, well, money no object, I don't mind. I don't care if I had to do it online in France, and suddenly I'm going like 20 minutes from a house. So it was fantastic. It was really meant to be.
Do you think you would have ever found that school had you not already been so interested? Like, would you have walked past it and seen it, or?
No, it's like in a hidden building. It's not, it's a small, they are inside a building. It's not like very
Right.
lit with
Right.
a sign.
That
But
is one of the things about the education, though. I mean, it's not in your face, right? You really have to want to find it to be able to find
yes,
it. It's
yes. And on the contrary, what really is in your face is all these booklets that are sometimes misleading. And, and I this thing with the sales of essential oils becoming more and more commercial, because 25 years ago, you had to go to a specific shop, and the person who was tending the shop, she knew what she was talking about and recommending, and it was very petite. And now all of a sudden, it's like everywhere, and you're saying, no, hang on, stop. If you love it so much, this is what I say to so many people, that they are in love with these essential oils, and getting to know them and try them. And I always say, if you love it so much, marry them. It's like study, get your paper, your certification, and really you can help more people like that.
That's amazing. I like that. I like the way you approach that with people. So regarding your practice, what is the most common problem or malady that people come to you for aromatherapy?
Well, I established it's like a small startup, really, but I am aiming women especially, right? And it's like I attract what I try to attract with my speech, basically what I know about. And it's this single you know, all these single ladies, you know, perhaps going through ups and downs, and well, also mothers. And it's mainly the stress of life, of having to cope with a job, with dating, which is very stressful, I can tell you that.
I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know at this
Yeah,
point
no, I
in my life.
know. I'm so lucky now. I'm already established, but you know, I went through all that, and all of these issues are causing a lot of anxiety in young females. And I am mostly with panic, anxiety attacks and things like that, breakups, you know, like emotional things mostly.
Okay.
Emotional aromatherapy has been my cup of tea since I graduated.
That sounds amazing. Well, you know, we forget that anxiety leads to stress, and stress, the end point of stress is disease. So
Yes,
we've got to cut it off and
as
look at,
soon as possible.
yes, very good.
Yes, and as natural as possible as well. You know, we want to avoid stronger medication, and perhaps you utilize all these good things that nature has for us.
Yes, and if we can get it, if we can stop it soon enough, then we don't have to go to those medications.
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, that's amazing. What are your top 3 favorite essential oils?
Oils. Okay, I am like, I have a relationship. It's like a love-hate relationship with tea tree oil,
Okay.
because that's the first one I found out and I started using, because I've had acne all my life, even as an adult. So the tea tree has been like completely, it's been a marriage. So number one to me that I love, I'm so grateful. You know, it's like acne gets on my nerves, and tea tree, you know, it's like part of it. But now it's like become part of my life, the tea tree oil. Number two, I would say what I make for my hair, for growth, and you know, to make it stronger. It's rosemary. So, and I also use it a lot for energy, like, you know, to, it picks me up when I need it. And then I think my third one has to be lime, distilled lime. And it brings me so much joy because it reminds me of candy, of sweets. For, you know, when I smell it, it's like going to a sweet shop, and I just love it. I think those are my three top.
Oh, that's amazing. I talked about lime in an Instagram post one time, and I said it smells like lime lifesavers taste.
Yes,
That's what,
yes.
and I love
Which
it.
is, yeah, my
Oh,
favorite flavor of
yes,
all is exactly. So I just love distilled lime specifically.
yes.
It brings me all this joy.
Oh, that's amazing. That's
Yeah.
amazing. Okay, so this is the question I really wanted to ask, but of course I wanted to warm up to it. Tell
Okay.
us about um, what you're doing with the Neuro and
Programming.
Aromatherapy.
Right. Okay. I have a few things here that I use. I combine. I When I was very young, it's funny how things make up the puzzle of your life. In front of my house in Costa Rica, they made this building. They built this huge building, and it said "Mind Control" by this Dr. Silva, and it was opposite, you know, the road from my house. And every time we went, took the car out and everything, I was looking at that. And eventually, when I got like teenage years, I went to ask, what is this? What do you do here? And they taught you mind control techniques by Dr. Silva, um, who has a few books. I think they're hard to find. This is from the 70s and 80s. But they used to teach techniques for, they didn't call it at the time, they didn't call it meditating. They call it programming. And it was incredible. I took the lessons. I did like 3 levels. I was young, I was studying. It gave me lots of tools for studying, for, you know, concentrating. It was amazing. And I never forget this. And the thing is, now when I graduated with aromatherapy, I started experimenting with mixing both techniques. So basically, aromatherapy, you know, how it goes to our limbic system, which is, I call it our emotions factory. It's basically our olfaction system is like an attachment to our limbic system. So I say, you know, it's like having the key to the gate to controlling your emotions. And how do we do it? Basically, I establish with my clients an aromatic zone, which is individual. For everybody is personal. So how do we do it? I have here a few of my tools, which I am going to show you. We use this to cover the eyes of the client. And this just sets you in the mood for when I give you a smelling or one of these smelling strips with different essential oils. Obviously, I choose carefully the options of the oils according to what they're working for. You know, if it's they need more focus, they're depressed, whatever. So I give them a few options according to what they tell me. And we do a blind olfaction of 3 to 4 oils that, you know, and then once they have their eyes covered and I give them one tiny drop in one of these strips, it's like all the drawers and doors to their emotions open up, and it brings out a lot of ideas. Maybe it's more like their things they remember, people they remember that they hadn't even thought about them for ages, and they start coming out, you know, like I'm saying, like what message or what does this oil want to communicate to you? Let's listen. And they start talking about all this and that, and I start like making a few questions regarding that person. What values do you find in this person? How do you relate it to how you're feeling today? Does it give you comfort? Does it give you stress? What comes out, right? And according to this, we decide, or I decide, what's going to be their aromatic zone to work with. Once we've established that, I make a blend. We use a special diffuser, more like like a nebulizer. Do you have, like, yeah, for breathing?
Yes.
So, right. So we have this aromatic zone for this person. And then I do the mind control techniques, first relaxing them. I try to establish communication between the person and their body, and to teach the body not to use pain as the only means of communication with the soul of the person. So I'm trying to establish dialogues of, you know, of happy things, of good things, and not use pain. Emotionally wise, we use a lot of the techniques are used to give them, for example, tools to find out more like, why are you feeling this way, or what power tools do you think you need, and how can you apply them to your outer life. And it just is like a voyage, I would say, like a travel into a broader perspective where they can see themselves or observe themselves, and bring more positivity, more internal dialogues, good dialogues, not just you know, not just the painful ones, and more tools that they can use for when they're outside in, you know, in their regular life.
Right.
So that's what I do. I call it the Neuro aromatic programming, because we work with this. We open up with the essential oils, we open up these doors, and we program what outcome we want to have or to bring to the person.
That sounds amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But my next question then would be, is your practice mostly in person, or are you doing things online as well?
I'm doing things online. The only disadvantage of online is I have to work with the oils that the person has. For example, with the years, I've grown my collection, and I have, very specific oils, and perhaps when somebody takes, when they're abroad in other Latin American countries like Colombia, for example, I work with people in Argentina, I have to do with the oils that they have. Eventually, I can recommend to when they purchase or when they plan to purchase, to ask me for recommendations so I can tune our meetings a little. But I work with what they have, and it's successful. It's not such fun as you would have with hundreds of oils, as a broader selection, but it works wonders. And every time is like, when I started with this, it was even shocking to me, the outcome of the things that came out with one drop of essential oil in a strip, and the things that opened, these memories of it always goes way back when I was a small child, and we used to do this, and my grandmother, and the garden, and the plants, and it's and I try to make this correlation with what they're living at the moment. I've had mostly women for these appointments, but lately I've had men, even a medical doctor, and it's so. I think it's given me, the experience has given me the ability of always take that memory that I can grab from the smell of the essential oils that they had, and bring it to present, and use it to make you stronger, to give you those tools that you need right now as an adult, and that perhaps something you used to play with in the back garden.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That's amazing. So how can people find you if they wanted to work with you? How could they find you?
Well, my little startup is called I Am Aromas in Spanish. It's Soy Aromas. So it's SOY Aromas. And you can find me on Facebook. Also, my webpage is soyaromas.com. And my Instagram is soy, there's an underscore, and then aromas. So that's it. I am Aromas.
I will link all of those below the video.
Sure.
But I wanted to give you an opportunity to say something to your Spanish-speaking audience before we close. So whatever you'd like to say, I won't have a clue what you're saying. I know un poquito. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to invite people to find you.
Claro. Ok, bueno, a todas las que me escuchan, les doy las gracias porque han sido seguidoras increíbles, han hecho una comunidad enorme, saben que soy el apoyo para aromaterapia emocional. Toquen mi puertita en @soyaromas en Facebook o Instagram, y tengan en cuenta que podemos trabajar vía remota también en tiempos como estos con sus aceites esenciales. Puedo ayudarles inclusive a tomar la decisión de cuáles podemos incrementar o trabajar con los que ya tenemos. Pero es una experiencia, primero que todo, diferente, muy divertida. Exploramos el inconsciente que tenemos por ahí guardadito y sacamos mucho gozo y mucha plenitud de ello. So, thank you so much, Melissa.
Fabulous. Thank you so much, Lugina. I appreciate you so much. You have no idea.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you. And I think what you're doing with the Neuro aromatic programming is life-changing. That can definitely be
Yeah,
life-changing for you.
I have a commitment with it, and I know I have to write. Eventually, I will have enough evidence to write a book and open up these tips and techniques for everybody.
Oh.
Because I even now I get, you know, I get shocked sometimes of what it can do.
Right. Well, I think it's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Okay.
it.
Thanks so much.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Have a nice day in Guam.